Now, as we talked about at the top of the cast, with all this cold weather coming, it's kind of that time of year again with more people coming down with cold and flus. And while a flu vaccine has been offered for years, not everyone is in favor of them. Dana Hutchings is here now with more on tonight's Checkpoint.
Scott, in Canada, the flu affects 1 in 10 adults and 1 in 3 children every season. Flu shot clinics start this Friday on Vancouver Island, but the flu vaccine has been controversial. 'Tis the season of colds and flus.
I had like a headache and
coughing, dry throat.
Had the headache and I pretty much stayed in bed.
The flu is a respiratory virus that goes around and causes epidemics every winter.
In fact, it strikes as many as 7.5 million Canadians in a flu season, which is between October and April. Health Canada estimates between 4,000 and 8,000 Canadians, mainly seniors, will die from serious complications of the flu.
It's interesting that this year we're expecting the same strains of flu virus that came around last year. So those are called Influenza A California, Influenza A Perth, and B Brisbane. So those same three that were around last year, we're expecting them to hang around for another year.
But the flu is unpredictable, and different strains can appear as the flu season progresses. Still, Dr. Fife says the best way to prevent the flu?
The most effective way to prevent influenza is by getting the flu shot every year.
Yet not everyone is convinced that's the way to go.
I was wondering about whether I should get one this year.
I really don't believe that they've done enough research, and I think they push way too many drugs on us.
It's good, it works.
You haven't had the flu once you've had the shot?
No.
Well, I don't get the flu shot anymore because I always got the flu and was sick for at least 3 months.
You know, I always seem to get the flu anyway, but they say it helps, so I'm in.
I work with public, so it's really important that I get one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you haven't had the flu while you've had the shot?
I actually haven't had the flu in ages and ages, probably 20 years.
Whatever your stance on the flu vaccine, there are other things you can do to prevent getting sick.
Washing your hands very frequently, trying to avoid touching your nose and your eyes when you've been touching surfaces or shaking people's hands.
And the doctor's best advice, if you're sick, stay home. You'll get better faster, and it's the best way to prevent others from catching it. And our checkpoint question, are you going to get a flu shot? Why or why not? You can tweet us at @check_news on Facebook at facebook.com/checknews or email checkpoint@checknews.ca. Scott, if you get the flu, you're generally going to be sick for about 6 to 10 days. And while the flu shot may be controversial, washing your hands properly is the most effective way to stay healthy. Turn on the water, get it to a comfortable temperature, wet your hands, get 2 pumps of soap and start washing. From front to back, in between your fingers, around your thumbs and wrists. And one area most people forget, your fingertips and nails. Start with your knuckle on the opposite palm and rub them together. And then move to your fingertips. This gets under your nail beds without a brush. Rinse off well and grab a paper towel. One last tip, use a paper towel to turn off the tap because you used your dirty hand to turn it on. If you aren't near a sink, don't forget about hand sanitizers. They work just as well. Just make sure you cover the entire hand. And our checkpoint question, are you going to get a flu shot? Why or why not? Cheryl Mary Graneman says not getting one. They're guessing which flus are coming our way. Knowing my luck, I would get the one we aren't immunized against. Diane Caravello says yes, 5 years in a row now. The reason? I'm a cancer survivor, 3 years going strong, and going through the treatment was a lot like the flu. So I do not want the memory of those horrible 6+ weeks. Lene Brunei says absolutely not. I'd rather build my immune system than make it weaker, thank you. Just another money-making, fear-based exercise. And Tina Costa Braga, yep, I've, knock on wood, never gotten the flu after getting the shot. I work in a doctor's office, so plenty of contact with sick people. I'll take my shot, please. And of course, this is just the beginning of the season, so we'll see what happens. It runs through April. That's tonight's Checkpoint.